No one wants to, no one, you don't need to be a girl boss. That shit's disgusting and embarrassing. Cut it out.
Being single.
But now the other thing is, the family structure is highly under attack. What JP is talking about is the general rule, the standard, how things were meant to be.
Yeah.
But the Christian is how things are. So there is the real and there is the ideal, right? So that's the ideal of the way things ought to be. And there's no excuse. I'm not watered down what he said. But the real is the structure, the home, the condition of the families and everything. This video, I put this video out yesterday, and we're just going to watch because he's going to put a little bit of, he's going to help us to see another side of the story that we haven't considered when it comes to family. So let's check this one out.
Happy that women are starting to finally break out of the matrix and realize modern day feminism is meant to literally break and destroy us. The reason we are all so f***ed up and unhappy is because we are going against nature, and nature will always prevail and will always win. But that is like true. It's like so funny that it took this long for these things to start to become mainstream ideas. No one wants to, no one, you don't need to be a girl boss. That shit's disgusting and embarrassing. Cut it out.
Being single and 46 sucks. And I'm tired. And I make jokes about the buffoons that I have been encountering in dating. But in reality, this is my reality. This is my reality. All the good men have gotten married in their 20s and 30s because they're good men.
I say this with my chest, there are far more women struggling to find love in relationships than men. Yes, I agree, bad men exist, but these men are created, not born. And I'll tell you what's causing this: toxic feminism. What feminism does is simultaneously teach women to detest masculine traits in men, but cultivate them in themselves. So for instance, a man that cheats is trash, but a woman who cheats is a bad bitch. Or a man that sexualizes women is misogynistic, but a woman should sell her nudes online and she's a bad bitch. But the biggest problem with feminism is that it makes women reject their feminine traits. So they no longer want to be loyal or nurturing. As a result, we're breeding a generation of men who no longer aspire to provide, protect, and most importantly, respect women because they can access them and replace them. So yes, men are struggling to find love, but it might be because this generation of women...
Feminism is a scam. A few years ago, I was an angry, blue-haired feminist. I once believed that male privilege was real and that I was a victim of the wage gap. Now that I understand the true motives of feminism, I know that this could not be further from the truth, and that modern-day feminism is a war on true masculinity. Before women had the right to vote, most were stay-at-home wives, which meant they weren't working jobs and couldn't be taxed. Our overlords didn't like that. Rockefeller started funding feminist campaigns in media, and as a consequence of the movement, women started entering the workforce and leaving the home. Children would then be separated from their parents and sent to Rockefeller-funded schools to be indoctrinated by the state. All of this ultimately disrupting the family unit at its core. Feminism is defined as the belief in social, economic, and political equality of the sexes. But in the West, I must ask, what rights do men have that women don't? Modern feminists are convincing women that hookup culture, using hormonal birth control, and not shaving is liberation. That toxic masculinity is prevalent and the patriarchy must be dismantled. Through movies and media, we're taught that working for the man, climbing the corporate ladder, and paying tax is more empowering and valuable than raising the next generation. Women have lost touch with our natural loving instincts and birth rates are plummeting. Men and women are not the same. And by protesting for equality of outcome rather than opportunity, feminists...
So I'm at the beach and I see all these families and all these couples and this husband making his wife truly and all this stuff, and I just look and go, what the hell did I do so wrong in a past life that I can't find that for myself? Look, I get tired of being asked, why am I single? Let's just ask my mother. Mom, why am I single?
How much time do you have?
Damn.
I have friends and family that always tells me, you're so lucky to be single and have no kids. but I got something to show you.
It's empty. Oh.
Sorry to say, but the lucky one are you. Because you have somebody who's waiting for you at home, whether it's your husband or your kids, whether they drive you crazy, whether you feel like you don't got time for yourself. Believe me, the lucky one is you. At least you could eat on the table full of people who loves you, not by yourself. Living in an empty house, not having nobody to cater to. So think twice before you tell somebody that's single that they live in a life, because you don't know how envy they are of you, wishing they did find that one true love, someone who to build a family and have kids.
I think that's very true. You know, we grow up and it's like, I don't need a man. I can do bad all by myself. And what were other things like, oh, I have a man because I want a man, not because I need a man. Yeah. So there's so many different things that I've heard growing up and even had latched on to in my own self where I had to like, pull back because I'm strong. I'm being a strong Black woman, you know what I mean? Or a strong woman, period. You're a strong woman, you know? And what I can say is, oh my goodness. So the last time I was at work, I looked at I was helping this man find his stuff. I mean, and his wife packed him a bowl. She packed him his food. And mind you, I work at a rehab hospital. And she just had everything so meticulously packed and put together for him. I just said, wow, your wife is on point. And he said, yeah, I'm so blessed. And I just thought, and then she came in and she was just so, you know, asking questions, wanting to help him, wanting to serve him. And I didn't find that she was being taken advantage of. I just thought it was a beautiful chemistry that she had in understanding her role as a wife. I said, man, I hope to be a wife like you someday. And so she said, well, it's been 43 years. And I said, oh yeah, I'm only 7 in, so I got plenty of time. Plenty of time. I'm not packing your bowls, James.
No.
But no, seriously, like it was just it's beautiful. And I can see the difference with the hard wives. You know, when I'm looking at all these different families where I work, there's like some wives who are like hard and exacting. There was another that, I mean, he was so kind and he was so soft and she was just like military woman. She was like militant. And I just thought, man, she's, whew. I didn't like being around her. Then the daughter was the same way. And I just thought, man, that's like that doesn't feel good. And what I will say is to that last woman, I couldn't imagine anything better. Like I've tried to jump on bandwagons of like, yeah, you know, if I could look back and not that I would ever give up my kids, but I would do things different and I would live this life. Like I would not trade my life for anything. 4 kids, 2 grandchildren, a wonderful husband. Like I wouldn't trade that. And all I want to do is refine myself to make sure that I am I'm totally engaged with the blessing that I have as a woman. But yeah, I definitely grew up like my mom was a single mother for a long time. She's still single, and a lot of family members a lot of church members, just a lot of people. And it's this, we'll rise up and do it because the men aren't doing it. And it's true. Men aren't necessarily in their role, but we still have to try to build men into that role as mothers, especially, instead of training our children, our sons not to understand their role and training our daughters to act like they can take on a man's role.
Yeah, there we go. You fixed what I was thinking. There we go.
Yeah. So it's like we have to really be mindful and for those single mothers out there, you know, there are men out there, like look for mentorship for your sons. Look for someone and be very careful. Naturally, you know, you don't want to put your kid in a vulnerable place, or just showing them different videos and different things, whatever, because now we have a lot of people who are doing this stuff online. So you don't have to put your child with another person physically. But teach, so you can try to just help them to learn what it is like to be a man, and teach your daughters how to understand the value of a man.
And I think that sets the stage for our next video.